welcome to another exciting time on television. The program is Business Angle, and I am Ogali Mafuru. Well, we'll begin the program with a look at the Nigerian stock exchange market, but I would like to give you highlights on what you would expect in the course of this program. Nigeria received its first shipment of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine on Tuesday, and it has kicked off an inoculation program beginning with frontline workers. We'll be looking at how the economy will fare with the coming of the vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine. Well, we will be beginning the program with, of course, a look at the Nigerian stock market. The investors on the Nigerian stock market on Tuesday lost 317 billion naira in a trading session amid sell pressure. Specifically, the market capitalization, which opened at 20.612 trillion naira, or 1.80% to close at 20.241 trillion naira. The all-share index dipped 709.7 points, or 1.0% to close at 38,686.85 from 39,396.57 achieved on Monday. Accordingly, the month-to-date and year-to-date losses increased to 2.8% and 3.9% respectively. The downturn was impacted by losses recorded in the medium and large capitalized groups, amongst which are Lafarge Africa, the United Bank of Africa, and the Northern Nigerian Flour Mills, and the Zenith Bank. A look at the Naira exchange rate. Exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar closed at 412 Naira to a dollar at the investors and exporters window. Nigeria currency depreciated yet again at the NAFEX window to close at a record low of 412 Naira per dollar on Tuesday, 9th March 2021, representing 0.03% decline when compared to 411 Naira per 88 per dollar recorded on Monday, 8th March 2021. Also, Naira weakened further against the US dollar in the parallel market to close at 482 Naira per dollar on Tuesday, 9th March 2021, despite recording a similar decline on Monday. The total manufacturing investment in Nigeria dropped by 76.11% in 2020 to 108.52 billion naira from 496.11 billion naira achieved in 2019, even as unsold inventory increased by 43.5% within the period. The unsold inventory represent total goods manufactured but were not sold. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, stated this in its exclusive summary of the economic review of the second half of 2020 made available. The report attributed the decline in investment to the depressing fallouts from COVID-19. Moving ahead, the Central Bank of Nigeria has spent the sum of 85.89 billion naira on its health sector intervention facility. CBN Governor Mr. Godwin Emefiele disclosed this in Abuja yesterday by disbursing the sum of 253.54 million naira to 5 researchers for the development of Nigeria COVID-19 vaccines and vaccines for other diseases. Well, to look at these issues with me and other reports is Chief Ima Awuru, President, Ethiopia Chambers of Commerce. So pleased to have you with us, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Well, I believe you'll be excited with the vaccines, the vaccination program currently going on in Nigeria. Well, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari and the Vice Yemi Osinbajo has further displayed, should I call it a way of encouraging, the citizens of Nigeria by themselves coming on national television, taking these vaccines. Now, with the vaccines coming on board, we understand that we have, Nigeria had the first shipment of 3.92 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines. Where do you think the economy will begin to, look like?
Yeah, thank you, Ogali. I think the coming of the vaccine portends good for the economy. by the vaccine coming, you have business confidence will build up, and of course, in as much as the COVID-19 protocols are still in place, but businesses will gradually open up. We must realize that 3.8 million doses will actually end up at about 1.8 million, because this AstraZeneca vaccine will require 2 doses for full efficacy.
Okay.
That means we will require more.
Okay.
But the point here is that action is being taken. And since action is being taken, there's going to be build up of business confidence. More businesses will open up. And as businesses open up, definitely the economy also grows. We should realize that you saw the manufacturer section saying that 76% losses.
Decline.
And not just decline alone, there are losses in the sense that some of these items that have been left unsold in warehouses will get bad, they will expire. Not only did it affect manufacturing, even remittances, foreign remittances fell by 60%. In a country where we so much depend on foreign remittances, over 30 billion.
Before you talk to us further about the impact on the foreign remittances, we did a report on COVID-19 vaccines, more like to enlighten our viewers out there about this COVID-19 vaccine and the step that the federal government has taken in building confidence in this vaccine. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, the point is this.
We
had a pandemic.
There's a report coming first before I get your take. Yes, sir.
On Tuesday, 2nd March, Nigeria received 3.92 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccines developed by the University of Oxford and AstraZeneca. It is the first shipment for the over 16 million doses allocated to the country through the COVAX facility, aimed at vaccinating 20% of the population. Nigeria is expected to receive an additional 42 million doses of approved vaccines through the African Union's African Vaccine Acquisition Task Team. The details on the timeline of shipments are not yet clear. The delay is part of a first wave of arrivals in Nigeria that will continue in the coming days and weeks. The arrival of the COVID-19 vaccine will enable the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to commence the vaccination of Nigerians in priority groups, starting with frontline healthcare workers.
We know that our work lies ahead of us in getting these vaccines into the hands of Nigerians, but as we have always demonstrated, we're always happy to do this work and make sure we get Nigerians vaccinated, which is actually the goal.
These vaccines are going to be coming in batches. From the COVAX facility, we expect 60 million doses of these vaccines between now and of May. This is the first batch of the 4 million. So in the course of the next few months, we're expecting additional doses. We're also expecting vaccines from the African Union, made up of up to 22.9 million doses of AstraZeneca and about 18.4 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson.
To boost confidence on the efficacy and safety of the vaccine, on Saturday, Muhammadu and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo received their doses of the vaccine live on television at the presidential villa. Other top government officials are to receive the vaccine in the coming days. Vaccinating Nigerians 200 million people is critical to the economic viability of the country. Hence, Buhari called on all state governments and political and religious leaders to play their part in making the nation drive a success. Nigerians' COVID-19 case tally is now above 158,000, including 1,954 deaths and over 134,000 recoveries, according to the latest figures from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control.
Well, as of today, Chief Ima Awuru, the confirmed cases of COVID-19 is about 159,252 people confirmed, with the COVID-19 virus. Now, Nigeria took delivery of 3.92 million doses, making it the third country in West Africa after Ghana and Ivory Coast to have access to this COVID-19. You were talking earlier about the impact of these on foreign remittances. I'd like you to.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is that because it's going to build business confidence, and of course, we live in a global village. Our partners overseas, they are also opening up because there's vaccine. So that confidence is actually going to, as the industries are opening there, people are working there, Nigerians who are there also are now going to start working, and that could improve our foreign remittances.
Okay.
Not just government to government, but even individual.
Individuals.
So in order to assuage that, now the government has come up with this naira for dollar incentive, where for every dollar you send in, you get 5 naira as a bonus to you. Those are all incentives, but the important thing that the economy must open. As people work overseas, they send in here. As we also open up, of course, we can improve our export. I think that will go back to this other part of your program.
Okay, what about locally made vaccines? We understand that CBN government, I beg your pardon, Central Bank of Nigeria,
Yes.
The president, the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria has, come out with modalities to enable local production of vaccines.
Yeah, I think the way to go is to go the way Italy and Ukraine went. Vaccine technology, especially a particular vaccine like this, there are just two types of technologies they use. One is the reverse RNA, and the other one is getting a mild version of the disease itself to inject into you. These are very, very high tech thing to do. So what Italy, Ukraine, and other countries did is, okay, if we believe that the Russian vaccine or the Chinese vaccine is good enough, we tell them, look, this is a big country. You can't manufacture this thing 100% in your country. Set up a manufacturing plant nearby so that you can take care of our country. That is the way to go. Okay. We did not start the research. Okay. If you did not start the research, you do not have a license to it, that means you must buy the technology. So partnership like using the Russian vaccine or the Sinovac from China, okay, or the RNA method from India, those are the type of way to go so that you can manufacture. For instance, the AstraZeneca, they already having challenges in manufacturing the volume required. So getting 3.9 million will not solve our problem. And if you tell them you want more now, you may be on a waiting list. For instance, the US is on a waiting list up to second quarter of this year. That is using the AstraZeneca vaccine. While Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, they are actually have been told to manufacture just for the US. So that is what we are looking at.
Another thing that happened with the recovery that we're beginning to experience in the global space is the rising, price of crude oil in international markets. As you rightly said earlier when we were discussing, you said the oil price is now at $71 per barrel, and Nigeria, it's it produces over 1,385 barrels per day. Is that correct? 1.86 million barrels. So now the finance minister, Zainab, is seeing all of this as a good sign in looking at improving the nation's GDP.
Yes.
So where do you think this will go, and how can Nigeria take advantage of this increase in oil price?
You see, we have a situation where we were all running a mono economy. Even though the budget didn't premise on a mono economy, we were expecting about $2 or $3 billion for crude oil this year at the rate of $40. But with the price almost doubling, we have about $71 now. You cannot go and borrow money when you're already earning that money. Now, it is good for our economy. We will borrow less and pay less interest. And of course, we'll be more braver when we are implementing the capital projects that were envisaged. But we should also not forget that if the price of crude goes up, that means because we import our finished product, the price of petroleum is all going to rise. Do not expect it to remain at the 160, 170. We still, because we do not refine enough for ourselves. So price of fuel will also rise. But definitely it's a good thing for us to have, for this price increase. I know that previously in previous regime we have this excess crude account, but this is not going to be the case now because our budget projections was already in deficit, so you shouldn't have excess crude. You should just use the money not to borrow more, but implement the project you have.
Okay, so what would you, aside reducing our borrowing rate in Nigeria, what would you expect of the government to do in utilizing this additional?
Well, you see,
you know?
some of the major projects, there were 2 hydro plants, the Mambila hydro project and another power project, and the rail link, several 2 or 3 rail links. These were going to be financed, and if they were being financed from borrowing, it will be slower. But because the funds are going to be there now, we can actually move faster. So that because one, 2 things that happens when a project is being done. Employment is garnered.
Yes.
People will be employed to do the project. And of course, once the projects are finished and the projects are running, the projects start paying for themselves. So you are creating jobs by implementing these capital projects. And don't forget, one of the problems we have in this country is the lack of infrastructures. It's roads, power generation. So if we can finish these projects, they will improve our infrastructural base and of course help grow our economy. Don't forget, our inflation rate is still very high. We are talking about 12% now. So as more revenue, as incomes like this are coming in and as more people are working, this will come bring it down to a better level, maybe 10-9%.
The federal government has complained about the high cost of production for the oil and gas industry. Now the OPEC is looking at production cut. Where do you think all of this will impact?
For instance, let's look at why did the price of oil go up recently? Saudi Arabia has some security challenges, and of course on their own they realized that overproduction and flooding the market wasn't helping them. That is why they also reduced internally. So production cost has always been there, but Nigeria has been able to manage our production cost to be below 28, between $10-11 to $28 per barrel for production. Some of these are actually inflated and direct. But the point is that if you have an average production cost of less than $20, then you should be able to produce oil at a good rate, at a rate where you are also making profit. Don't forget, most of our production are either production sharing or joint ventures. Okay. So it's not 100% of whatever we sell that really comes back to us.
Okay. All right. Now let's come home. Now we understand that the federal government has approved the reopening of the Osubi Airport, and some persons are calling for an upgrade. Now, where do you think this will take us as a state?
Yeah, I've mentioned here earlier that we have a problem with our infrastructures in the state, and air transportation, especially with these problems of insecurity, air transportation is very essential. So when the Osubi Airport was shut, most of us in the Delta area were hampered. But thank God it has been opened now. But opening it for just these small planes is not good enough for business. The airport will not even break even because of the small planes. These small planes can take many passengers, and of course the smaller the planes, the cost of running them. So we believe that the government, not just the federal level, the state and the federal government can actually expand this airport so that bigger planes can start coming in. Warri, Port Harcourt, these are the oil capital of this country, and if these 2 places have even international airports, there's nothing wrong with that. It will be busy, but what we're having is small old planes carrying 20-30 passengers. It's not cost effective for these airlines, and it's not also cost effective for the airport operators.
Well, there's no gainsaying that even with the COVID-19 vaccine currently on ground, we're not out of the woods yet when it comes to the COVID-19, pandemic. Hence, there is need for us to, adhere to certain precautionary measures set in place by the NCDC. So we did a report on airport. There's a report on airport I'd like our viewers to see before we talk about managing this reopening of the Osubi Airport in the midst of COVID-19. So let's see that report before we continue.
Presenting a motion on the floor of the House Honorable Efe-Afe noted that infrastructure in Warri Airport, also known as Osubi Airport, located in Osubi community in Okpe local government area, is an important facility that was privately owned and operated by Shell. He further noted that the airport was built by Shell Petroleum Development Company, commissioned on the 1st of April 1991, and was reckoned to be one of the busiest aviation facilities in Nigeria as a result of the landing of modern Dornier 328 and Aero Contractors 50-passenger dash aircraft. Honorable Afe told the House that the Osubi Airport was later acquired by the federal government of Nigeria in 2015 and was leased out to Shoreline Oil Services Limited, who managed the facility until recent termination of their contract in February 2020 as a result of complaints by airline operators who use the airport.
Honorable Member, the JAG should resolve that all the federal government, through the Ministry of Aviation and other relevant agencies of government, to ensure that Osubi Airport is reopened for operation as soon as possible.
We already have the reopening of the Osubi Airport.
While stressing the importance of the facility to Nigeria's oil and gas operations and other commercial activities in the Niger Delta region, Honorable Afe called on the federal government through the Ministry of Aviation to reopen the Osubi Airport operation, maintaining that reports from different agencies concerned, such as the Federal Airport Authority (FAN), the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, indicated that the airport is viable and
cases of COVID-19 in the state.
I think one of the reasons why the airport was actually shut was the operators were not up to speed in terms of implementing, paying their dues and so forth. And one of the reasons why it was delayed, the opening was delayed, is to install equipment to ensure that proper COVID-19 protocols are adhered to. So nobody is going to, you will not take a risk in going into it. You know that an aircraft is a sealed box. That means if you do not protect the passengers there, just one passenger can spread it among the passengers in an aircraft. So I am sure that all those facilities to ensure that, sanitization, cleanup and so forth, masking, all will still be implemented unless everybody, at least 70-80% of the population has been vaccinated. It's only then that we will that 10 years we can relax protection in terms of COVID-19 controls. It's definitely necessary. Nobody is going to use that airport unless all those protocols, all those equipment have been installed, so that people are either tested, they are sanitized, and all the rest.
Okay. Now, in closing, I'd like you to put forward words on the inoculation program that's currently going on in the country and trying to encourage citizens to. We understand that Nigeria has launched an online registration for the COVID-19 vaccination. I'd like you to put words forward for citizens, Deltans who are viewing us at this moment on the need for them to make themselves available for this vaccination exercise, as it will impact, greatly on the nation's economy. If we're not, safe, of course, the country economy cannot grow.
Yeah, so I'm not part of those schools that are not that don't believe in the vaccine. I believe that the vaccine is essential. If there were no vaccine, polio would have killed a lot of people, smallpox would have killed a lot of people. So vaccination is a way of preventing a disease that is very contagious. So once you are vaccinated, you are very sure that at least you are protected against that ailment. I encourage people to vaccinate. In fact, my worry is actually if we all pour out to vaccinate, there won't be enough vaccines available now. Yes. So the first thing now is at least this 3.9 million doses should be shared out. It's not going to be shared everywhere. There are only special places where you have this cold storage of up to minus 40 degrees centigrade. Those are the places that we will take them to, and then of course they have to be utilized within a short period. So I encourage people not to be afraid. General Buhari is over 70 and he took the AstraZeneca vaccine. Nobody complained that he has side effects and things like that. Everything we do, there are side effects. Even if you're drinking a beer, you have side effects. So we should all be encouraged that, thank God, a vaccine has come out that will be able to protect us from this pandemic.
And in the meantime, there is need for everyone to observe the COVID-19 protocols, because of course the 3.92 million doses can't go around. We have over 200 million Nigerians, and so that means that there will still be about how many more millions of Nigerians that are yet to be vaccinated. So that means that every one of us should adhere to all the safety guidelines, the protocols of hand washing, the use of hand sanitizers, the wearing of face masks, and of course social distancing. So I must say a big thank you, Chief Ima Awuru, for coming on the program Business Angle and joining us in this conversation, adding your voice to the call for all Nigerians to take responsibility, even as we collectively look towards combating the devastating impact of COVID-19. A very big thank you to you again, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, dear viewers, for always being there to, be part of this program one way or the other. I am Ogali Mafru. Do well to join us for another exciting time next week, and stay glued to your sense for more important and interesting programs coming your way. Bye for now.